family. Dwayne Jordan here. We're just back with MWBA Talks, and this conversation is about the ladies. We're here to talk about the history of women's basketball here at Manly. It's something we should be proud of. We have come to be a dominant force in the Waratah women's division and in our junior division. It's something that we should be very proud of. And we got the ladies here, just the forefathers, forgive the language, of the women who made this thing work. The people are part of this journey. I'm lucky to have these statesmen about this. We have Paula Martin, Jacki Bresic, and Erin Todd now there. So how you doing, ladies? How we doing?
Yeah, good. Very good, thanks.
Good, good, good. How we doing in this day and time? What's going on with all this stuff being isolated? Basketball's away from us. So hopefully everyone gets a little bit of a taste. So how we doing, Erin? 2 kids?
Yeah, I miss my friends, so it's really nice for me to see Jack on the video.
Jack,
Because I don't miss my husband, that's for sure.
Right, look here, I'm the only guy here. Won't be any male bashing going on. I'm married with a 3-year-old daughter, so yeah, and my mother-in-law's here, so I'm alone in this house too.
You speak quietly.
So just a little bit, I want to hear a little bit about you so someone else all not know. So Paula, I'll start with you. Paula, tell us about yourself here. Everyone knows you, Paula, as a coach. Please tell us about Paula as the player. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. I was a late starter. I didn't start playing basketball till I was about 15. I was playing that other silly sport that you weren't allowed to go anywhere. And once I started playing, I just loved it. And the next year I got selected for the under-18 ACT team and went to 2 nationals, bottom age 18s, top age 18s. And from that, got identified for the AIS, which is now the COE. So I was there for 3 years and then moved to Melbourne to play in the WNBL. So I had 9 seasons playing in the WNBL, and
I didn't know this.
6 of the 9 we made finals, and 1 year we actually won the championship. So yeah.
Who was that with, Paula?
Coburg Cougars.
Oh.
And we have a Zoom session on Sunday. We still like this is the best part about basketball, I tell my kids. And yeah, we meet up on Sundays at 2:00, and it often goes for 4 to 6 hours, just chatting about stuff. And
Obviously, that's what I mean. People just don't know that about you, Paula. Everyone just sees the coach on the sideline and a dedicated person to the art of basketball. They don't know that you also was just as much as a player as you are a coach. So, Jacki, you're a Manly girl. And everyone just doesn't, like, the girls who hang out with us, and everyone knows you, Jacki, as Jacki's agency, Jacki the business lady, but you're a Manly lifer. Just tell us about the Manly life from, you grew up with this thing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so look, the first thing I'm going to say is that Manly is such a close part of my heart, because one of my best friends is here, and I could name 5 of my best friends, and they've all come from the Manly Association. And I think that's got to be a credit to the values and just like what an epic association it is. But like Paula, I started when I was about 14 or 15. I was bottom age 16's reps. And back in those days, if you were the worst player, they were so mean to you. Oh my God, I will still remember. And I remember Stewie Jones was literally just being like, you just got to turn up, just keep going, because they already had the 12. So I was like, train on. And but 2 of my best friends were in the team as well, and they, we ended up traveling overseas together later, but they were nice to me. But it was quite, it was a humbling experience, but it was awesome, and it paved the way for us to go through. We're the same team all the way through then. Top age 18s were actually pretty decent, I think. I can't remember what we came, maybe top 4, which was like unheard of back then. And then Brad Dalton got me back in as a senior. When was it, Erin? That baseline when I met you. I can't remember, but I remember
2008,
turning up on that baseline, and it was the best thing that happened because
wasn't it just?
Well, no, not because of you. But it got me back there, and then got us into the rest of our senior basketball career. So yeah, that's a short version.
Well, Jacki, look, you're the quintessential Manly journey, though. Like you bringing up the fact of where you come from and where you've grown and where it finishes at. That's every single Manly player that comes. So this is where our reach is with this community. As the word, you epitomize what we always say now, the Manly family. So it's been that way for years, that culture. But Erin, you're a different person. Erin, you're like the person who kind of really really not held down the women's program from the 10-year run of the Star. You know what I mean? A high-powered player playing for Manly here, high-powered scorer and elite scoring player. But we'll get into that a little later. But I want to know about you before 2008. What was Erin up to before she walked in Manly's door?
Yeah. Well, I was probably the opposite to Paula. I have played basketball since I don't know when. I think I started when I was 5 years old in like the under 8s. I just loved it. I had an older brother that was playing basketball, so I automatically wanted to play. And in Melbourne, I grew up in Melbourne. In Melbourne, there's great opportunities to play. So lots of clubs, lots of teams. It's very deep. It's highly competitive, even from junior level. So I grew up playing all my juniors at a club called Eltham, which we have another senior Manly boy, funnily enough, who grew up playing, Luke Cooper. Luke and I actually went to the same primary school, so it's funny that we both ended up at Manly as well. So, but Manly is very much a club like Eltham, so very much where you live in Manly, you play for Manly, or you live on the beaches, you play for Manly, and Eltham's very much similar. So if you grew up around there, you played at Eltham. It's a big club. It's a huge club. It'd be, I would hate to think, probably 3-4 times the size, I don't know, Paula, of Manly.
At least that, I'd say.
Yeah, so lots of players. So you would look at rep teams, and from the under 12s through to the under 18s, they would have 5 rep teams in every girl's age group, in every boy's age group, and they'd be sending 3 or 4 teams of kids away that wouldn't make rep teams. So they're big clubs. So I played all my juniors at Eltham. I obviously played for Vic Metro from under 16s through to top 20s. We won, 6 titles. So,
Stay humble, Erin. Stay humble.
This is the bit where I hate her. Bloody Victorians. We only liked her after 2008. Before that, hated her.
Yeah, that's it. I then played the first 2 years of my WNBL career at Dandenong, where I was very, very fortunate to walk into an exceptional team. So they won back-to-back championships. I was literally 17, 18 with a group of studs that were 25, probably 6 opals, maybe 7 opals, like just unreal team. I saw the game Jess Bibby hit 64 points, was it, to take the scoring record? Never seen anything like it. Just a really, it's different to these days. Like you do your time when you're a kid in a team like that. You get yelled at. You stand on the sidelines, you don't sub in. Like it's a different introduction to senior basketball than it is these days. I then went and played 2 years in Adelaide for the Lightning. And then I played my last, whatever it was, for the Flames, 6 or 7 years for the Flames. I had a year off in there where I wasn't really enjoying basketball very much, but then I came back and played a couple of years. And when I came over to Sydney to play for the Flames, Karen Dalton was my coach, the sister of Brad. So it was a natural progression for me to go and play at Manly, which, to be fair, I'm so thankful. Like coming into Sydney, you don't know any of the clubs, you don't know who's where and everywhere. I'm so glad, as Jacki said, like I'm so glad I ended up at Manly because it is the Manly family, but my bestest mates are from Manly now. So like, I think it doesn't matter what you achieve, who you play for, who you don't play for, like there'll be mates there that we walk away with forever, and that's what sport should really be about. And I probably only know that now. If you asked me 10 years ago, it wasn't about that. You've all seen me blow up on the courts. Upon reflection, it's about the relationships. And like, I'm so thankful that the relationships I was able to build at Manly, they'll last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, that's almost a perfect segue to our purpose of this conversation where I got y'all together. Women's basketball at Manly. I just want to for the kids to watch this thing, to enjoy the journey of you guys, what you guys been on. So I want to speak on just a little bit briefly about 10 years ago. Let's rewind. We're going back 2009, 2010. Would be Erin, your second year here. Jacki, your second year playing what seniors. Paula, first tell us what was going on with the junior women's program, because I know you had kids playing at that time, but what was going on with the junior women's program around 2010 at Manly?
Yeah, it was probably a bit hit and miss, I guess. We didn't have a lot of coaches, and Michael Griffiths was part of the coaching committee, and he'd asked me, because Ellie was going to graduate from juniors, and he asked me would I consider going back to coach under 12 girls. And I spoke to a couple of my girlfriends from Melbourne who were coaching 12s at Dandenong and Bulleen, big clubs like Erin's talking about. And they just said, look, if you can do it, jump at it. It's really rewarding. And so I thought, oh, look, if I can go there and try and build help build a program similar to what the boys were doing, because I'd seen the rep teams in the boys program, successful 12s with the white boys and then with Jared and Nick, and then that flowed on to successful older age groups which fed into the senior men's, and we sort of in the girls didn't really have it consistently. It was like you might have one group that was good, but you didn't have team like age group after age group. So I thought, oh, maybe I can try and help the junior girls. So
well, that was a big moment there, because I can honestly agree 10 years ago, because I got here in 2006 myself, and seeing that and seeing the state of play. The boys program at the time was considered high power. We had guys making state teams and national consideration for national teams at that time, and our women's program was not getting its just due. However, on the senior level, there was a lot of things going on. It was a competitive program going on there. So, Erin, what was about that 2009? What was going on at that time with the women's program?
I don't think we missed any final series, did we? We're always really competitive.
No, you were though. Yep.
There was actually, speaking of good junior programs to come through at senior level, that's probably where we were always sort of like held up. Like Bankstown had an incredible run. How many titles did they win? 6, 7?
Yeah.
Even during my juniors, they were winning. Like they
isn't
tormented me from under 16 all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. And literally that is literally off the back of their junior program and families, like you mentioned, Paula. So you have the Hennessy's, the Samuels, like they had some Sarah Haitley, Gilbert, like they had some unbelievable basketball players. And like those real foundation people too, like they were Bankstown people. But yeah, we were really competitive. And we had obviously a couple of people come in from outside of Manly, but really I think the core of that team was still junior Manly people.
Yep.
Jenna Bilton, Candace, who else was in there?
Well, then we had the 4 youth leaguers who were amazing. Elise Pitcher was at like the height. Like bring Elise back.
Yeah.
Bring her back. Elise, Lauren's like, I think I coached Lauren since under 12 since she was at school, and she's always so deep in my heart. But those 2 girls, then there was like Jess Snell.
Jess.
But it was we actually for a few years there while Brad was coaching, we had such a good core group. And then towards the end, like Jess Kelly came, Kristen Forbes came down. And then we managed to keep that group for such a good time. And Brad actually did a really good job of always getting us some good imports, some people that wanted to come and Manly Life for a couple of years. So that was pretty good.
And Brad really held that senior women's program together from all perspectives of organising training, getting players, keeping the motivation, running the right, I believe, running the right offenses.
Give Erin the ball.
All right, Doug Collins.
That's a great plan.
Sorry, Hans. I believe in the right offenses.
Hey, it paid off. You were a star. You did what you needed to do. Look, and led us to that journey of where it culminated, I thought, where you girls, when you say competitive each year, I bring up that 2012 series because that was like the highlight of that thing where you guys actually took out a #1 seed in the semifinals.
Yeah, that was the best.
That Hornsby team.
Oh,
So, I mean,
can we just relive that game? Let's just take
One of
this
the best fun.
What were we
Go
down,
down
like
7 with 2 to go.
How much?
I swear it was 7 with 2 to go, with like a minute and a half to go, and then like Candy gets a steal at half court.
Yeah.
Forbes gets a layup.
Yeah.
I can't even remember, but then
It just
Candy
doesn't even
finished at the end.
matter. But the fact that let's look at that. We beat Hornsby on the buzzer with all of the Hornsby people in the stands.
Yeah.
We won't mention names.
And we'd never been
I'm happy to,
before.
but we won't mention names.
yeah.
At the time, they had, I think it was 8 Flames players. It was the Flames team virtually, right? It was the Flames team coached by the Flames coaches in the Flames structures, and we beat them like on the buzzer.
Yeah.
Like you don't normally come down from 6, 8, 10 with a couple of minutes to go.
No.
But the attitude of that group was what got it over the line.
And
Attitude and the heart. I'm sorry, but like there was no way we were walking off that court. And actually, we had no place to win that game.
No, not at all.
place to win it. But I think any lesson that you could get, if you believe it enough and you want it enough, like no truer example was it in that game.
Paula, were you there at the game?
I was there. You had a fair few supporters there, and I think a few of the boys that missed out in their final or something.
Yeah, we lost. Let's not bring that up. Keep it moving.
Yeah,
right.
that was a huge crowd too, wasn't it?
We actually had heaps of supporters. We had all the Comet supporters as well. Like everyone that basically hated Hornsby were cheering for us.
I reckon that game I might have done some of my biggest celebrations on 3-point, mate. Like some of my best.
Well, to bring that point to thing, I think that was the climax of that first run of that journey.
Yeah.
After that, the female program on a senior level, let's be all honest, I'm going to talk real, we dipped. We didn't play the next year and we dipped. But the funniest thing that happened there was while that was going on, it was the rise of the junior program.
Yeah.
It was the journey and the stuff that was going on the junior level. And that's what it is. So, Jacki, why don't you talk about, Paula, talk about what's going on there.
Yeah, so the first couple of years were pretty hard because it was about getting numbers. And once we got a few girls turning up, then I got Dave to come down to the 14s because I thought we needed another strong coach at a younger age group. And we just started to get a bit of success early on. We had a group that was led by a girl called Kitty Henderson, who a few of you have probably heard about by now. And she just really set the benchmark for her effort and intensity and standard at training.
Was this on the 12s or 14s?
She started bottom age 12s.
Yep.
And she's just super competitive, a bit like yourself, Lauren. But we just sort of built it around her, or not built it around, sorry. Everyone was happy to jump on because she was setting this high standard. And then by the time they got to 14s, they went to 14 nationals, which was sort of unheard of for us. And I believe it was the first time a Manly under 14 girls team had been to nationals. And then with the success, we went 6 years in a row. And now we have our all age groups, Division 1, top 4. Last year we won the Lorraine Landon Award, which is for the most successful junior girls program. So really proud of that.
That's awesome, Paula.
But it's been like a group effort because we now have a lot of numbers, and success breeds, popularity, I guess. The girls' local comp has just grown out of so big now. On a Saturday, you can't even get a car park because it's so big. So now our numbers. Yeah. So and then and now instead of just getting anyone turn up, like you're getting some really good athletes as well as kids that are keen. So hopefully it'll keep continuing. And then so Kitty now is last year played in the senior team. filled in a bit, as did some of those other girls that were in that first couple of years. So, and that's what's pleasing for me to see now that there's more, and there's one of them's at the COE and Australian junior team. So, yeah.
It's a journey that you should be yourself and Dave Greenberg to tip your hat to be very proud of. You guys took this opportunity because not a lot of coaches want to go back down to the bottom and work their way up and stay there. You guys actually stayed there, which is a blessing because a lot of coaches want to take that team that's good and take them all the way to the end and just stay with a good team. And you guys stayed at 12 and 14 for those many years, and now we're seeing the benefit of that. And that's so much good that kids don't realize how important the fundamentals in the beginning is, and they just want to see the end result. As the saying always goes, people want to emulate the result, not the process. And so that's a very much so what's happened, and you guys gave them a great process to go through. So kudos to you guys, Tim Hill over there, all you guys staying involved in the program. So when that was going on there, the girls took a little bit of, the women took a little bit of a, like they just went their own, life took over. Life took over. We don't say it on the women's side of it. These things happen in all programs. And then we decided to, a couple of years later, to revive the program, started up again. I was crazy enough to actually step in and coach them for a couple of years.
You were.
Yeah, and it was the first 3 years I gave to that one. First year we didn't win a game. Second year we won 5, and then the third year we won 500. And then after I leave, the next year I win a title, so I hate you all. But Erin, you were there through that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You left on the high. You speak with so much joy about that win against Hornsby.
Yeah.
You came back knowing the situation, what it was, to rebuild again. You put some of the girls back with you. Talk about that process, ladies, both of you guys. What made you guys come back and try this again?
Yeah. I think, we left on that, or not left on that high. I was personally exhausted from basketball and needed some time away. And that was the year I had, I think, the season off at Manly and off in the WNBL. I'm sorry, I took a few people with me.
It's life. It happens.
But in saying that, I think it created an opportunity when a few of us older or senior players stepped away for those other girls to develop. And also I think, when you leave, like, let's be honest, I played 40 minutes and took all the shots. Like, so when that goes, other people need to fill that void. And I think two things happen. A, they step up, but also they realize that role is harder than it looks. Like, it looks like a fun role, but there's pressure with it. And, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to be able to either get those shots up or to make those shots, or the decisions that comes with that. And so then by the time we came back in, it's almost like everybody was like, oh yeah, you can have them again, because I tried that and it's not as fun as it seems. And I think that brought the group together, because it's really hard. I reckon we've all played in a team where we've been the best player and we've been the worst player. Yep. And I think those last few years at Manly, we all were very happy with our roles, whatever that was. True. And it is because we'd gone through a journey, and everybody from the younger players to the older players, where we'd played every role. Where there was no one in the team that had always been the best player in every single team they've played, or the worst. Mm-hmm. So it literally got to the point, and we had a couple of good years and obviously won the title, where the only thing that mattered was winning the title. Yeah. And that is such a sweet spot in any sport, because it's so hard to get there, isn't it? Like, generally speaking, something
to hold it high.
Yeah, it's not everybody's buying in.
2017, Manly was so proud of it.
We won the title. Yeah. Like, we just got into finals because we had people in and out. And then what did we win? 3 finals by less than 2 points in 3 games in a row. But it was because we were able to get over the line, because everybody just bought into their role. And that role was different for every person over the finals weekend. Like, Jess Kelly made 2 foul shots to get us through to the final.
That's right.
Like, we're down 1, and Jess Kelly's on the foul line. Like, God love her, but I don't want Jess Kelly on the foul line. Like,
she's gonna punch you for that.
We made them both. We made the final. Like,
shout out to Jess Kelly. Shout out to Jess Kelly.
Yeah.
Jacki. Get Paula.
Oh, when the girls came back, and Erin in particular, and other girls that they brought, by now some of my girls were getting to an age where they're actually interested in the senior program. They'd maybe watched a bit of the men. So it was really pleasing for them to come and watch great women's basketball, not only men's basketball, and to see the quality of some of the players so that they could look to try and, oh, I want to be like her, or I want to play at that level. So that was really good. And so, yeah, thank you for coming back, Erin.
Well,
And also bringing Snelly.
Yeah, I might have brought a superstar with me too. That might have
played that year. I'm not sure. There was a play. I'm not sure.
3 or 4 Olympics. Doesn't go straight, does it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know her. I think I heard.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, Jacki, I'm going to bring you in here too, because Jacki, look, the fun part about Jacki, what everyone doesn't realize what happened, Jacki's appearance on the sideline at games or being a part of stuff always was a joy. Jacki is the epitome way before the men became a manly family or the guys that culture, where this was a woman who was a one-stop party and making sure everyone was together, holding everyone accountable. What gave you that energy to be that energy on that sideline, just in case? Because you're like, I can't play anymore, so I'm going to make sure you girls are on point.
I mean, well, one, it was a chance to see, 6 of my best friends every week, twice a week and on Saturdays. 2, I mean, when you love the game, you love the game. When you can do it with your best friends and have so much fun, then that's what you're going to do. But you know what? It was actually just to be a part of it, and obviously for us to come away with the championship, which we'd never had. But yeah, I think it's just what gives me the energy. I mean, it's just there. Right now, get me back on the court, get me back coaching under 12s. I am there, So I think, but also Paula, bring it back, coaching under 12s. That was where I had some of my best memories. I was over at Comets at the time, but just so rewarding. And then you see them come through the program, and I think there's no better an age group than that under 12s because it's just so pure.
They're like sponges.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, Dwayne, I will always have that energy, and I will always be cheering for the Manly teams. And you'll see me. I mean, I think I've started following the Instagram the other day. There's some girl that's going off to college. I was like, you had some footage up, and I was like, oh my God, she looks amazing. And it's just it just naturally oozes out. But
she was one of my under 12s.
Yeah, and that is where we all coming together during this time. So great, Jacki, you great transition to that statement, because that's what I want to finally talk about here. Where we are today, the future. You just hit the nail on the head. I mean, you just sit there and say that there's a young girl going to college. There's 2 of them. There's Kitty and next year and Ellis going in. And there's numerous girls who I'm forgetting about, Bianca Blades, all of the girls who's already in, Gracie Lee, who are already in college right now, signed to go. So the future of Manly basketball, tell me how y'all feel about the future. Tell me, feel free, anyone.
I mean, I don't know much about the future. It's the first time I've actually started following the Instagram, so I've got to get more onto it. But to hear about these girls that started with Paula back in under 12s, worked through great Dave, who's a great coach, and have been able to come through the whole way, and to send them overseas, amazing opportunities. We haven't had that. I think when I was at the junior program, we maybe had Jade Warren, we had a couple of girls that went through, but it was a rarity. So now to hear that, I was so excited to hear it. And I think great job to all of you for keeping that going. And the more you can spread the word to us old folk who have nothing better to do than look at it and be super excited for these young ones going through, the better. Because, like Erin said, it's now that we can all appreciate that what we get from this game and from this association is that love and that family and those long-lasting relationships. So the more we see about it, the more we can support them and be there from the sidelines as well. But yeah, I don't know about the future.
And interestingly, I think you talk about the role that Jacki played in that grand final. I'm pretty sure it was Jack that got us back for that season, to be honest. So, annoyingly, she can pretty much get us to do anything. So most of the credit probably needs to go to her. But also, there were seasons there where she kept us together. So, we can say now we're all mates. But I remember having stand-up arguments with some of my best mates. Forbes will always have some good stories on me. You copped a few of them, Dwayne. But someone you always need that one person that can bring you back, that can say, well, or to me, well, no, you were wrong. Sorry, you were wrong. You shouldn't have said that. Can you please go and apologize? And that you actually listen to and you do. And Jacki's that person. So she could always keep us together no matter what was said. She could always get us back. She could always get us out for dinner after if we needed that, or to training early if we were being silly, or to make us run when we should have run, which sometimes you couldn't get us to do, Dwayne, unfortunately. But
Hey, I really look disappointed. Jacki, that's what I mean by X Factor. That's
it.
X Factor.
But there's just
Next
those
one.
people at the club, and I would say the three of you are three of those people. I would say like Janet Bilton, like how could we not mention her as part of the women's program? I still have my white manly shorts, Janet, you're not getting them back. Sorry, I digress.
She's got to be neutral. She's actually got a boys and girls. So
Yeah, but there's just certain people at clubs that get people to do things or get people to buy in or stay associated or whatever it may be coaching, it may be anything. And in that championship, Jacki is definitely one of those people. And like now you look at you, Paula, with the under 12s, like that's what Victorian basketball is built on, like super solid under 12 coaching. So you get past that and you've already got the foundation. So, you know,
you meet so many great people along the way that become your friends and your manly family, and that's the best part.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much.
Anyone else tearing up a little bit?
No, yes, I am. I'm remembering Erin coaching me up at the Armenian school in those sessions with you, Erin. I'm tearing up right now.
Because you're so
Don't worry, we've all had to coach Erin.
Look here. Look.
I haven't.
I apologize. Anything I said post stepping past the white line.
Yes.
Okay? Anything after? No apologies. I meant that.
As a player myself, going into a coaching role of that one, I respected every single the way you handled it because it meant that much to you. You know, sometimes it didn't come off to the people watching it, but I know how much it meant to you. I know how much we're an intense group. As much as we're smiling and laughing, from Paula, Dave, Jacki, myself, we're an intense group, and we can laugh about this now, but winning in coach is that important to everyone here. And you, everyone, all one of you ladies, thank you for that journey. Now, hopefully next year, by the next 5-10 years later, we have a second group of people taking that baton, running with it. But all three of you, thank you.
One more thing. Sorry, I've got to say one more thing. We've spoken about love, family, friendships, but actually the number one thing that gets us as well, or like one thing that every junior should see in the future of MWBA beyond, is the competitiveness and that will to win at all costs for the maroon and white. Yeah. That's it.
Well, on that note, that's all we need to say. So, Manly family, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Lots more basketball to come. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back on the court. Thank you, ladies. There we go.
What about placement? That's Jacki.
Representing the fashion biz. Good girl.
Yes. Okay, Manly fan. Oh, yeah, even I got a Manly shirt on too. So, here we are. But let's never forget about Mike. And then that's all. But, all right, ladies, have a good night. Thank you all.
Thanks, Wayne. You're a legend.